In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install and configure Appdata Backup. Are you worried about losing your containers and all that hard work that you have into setting up your server just the way you like it? Worry no more with Appdata Backup. Today, I'll show you how to get it installed and configured. Let's get our Appdata backed up. But before we get started, if you haven't signed up for the newsletter yet, I'll leave a link below. It's a monthly publication with Unraid news, written out guides, and more. Sign up now so you don't miss out. On to the backup. First, we're going to need a location for our backups. I already have a backup share set up for my PC backups, so I'm going to use that location. If you don't have one set up yet, let's set that up first. To do that, we're going to go over to Shares. We're going to go to Add Share, and you'll put in a share name. We'll name it Backups. And for comments, you can put in whatever you want here. So I'm just going to do backup location for data. We're going to want it to go to the array. No need for it to really go to the cache drive. Secondary storage, we're going to leave that on none. Then we're going to hit Add Share, and then done. Back on your Shares tab, you'll notice that you now have a Backups folder here for your shares. So we're going to go back into that. We're going to scroll down, and under SMB security settings, we're going to set that to yes. And then I'm going to hit Done. Next, we'll browse to that share. I've already got mine open here, but you will open your File Explorer, go to //, then your server IP address, and then press enter, and then there you should see a backups folder listed now. So go ahead and open up your backups folder. Then inside of there, we're going to need to create another subfolder. So I'm going to go new folder, and I'm going to name this one demo_appdata. We're done with the folder for now, so let's go back to our Unraid server, and let's get it installed. So we're going to go to Apps. In the search option, we're going to search for backup. And then the monthly spotlight one here, the Appdata Backup from R's repository is the one we're looking for. So we'll need to click install and then done. That was quick. I was going to say while that was installing, but it's already installed. So let me just tell you this. I have over 50 video ideas lined up right now, but if you have something that you think would make a great video, then drop me a comment with your idea. And while you're down there, subscribe. All right, now let's go on to the setup and the use of Appdata Backup. So let's go up to settings, and we're looking for backup/restore Appdata, which should be under the user utilities near the bottom. Go ahead and open that. Under backup type, you've got some different options here. The default one is stop, backup, and then start for each container. You can also do stop all containers, back it up, and then start all the containers. If you only have a couple and you're gonna run this in the middle of the night, that would probably be fine, but on my main server, I've got over 50 different containers, so I don't like it taking that long. So I just leave it on the default, the stop, backup, and start for each container. And the delete backups if they're older than X days. This is, personal preference, of course. Default 7 days, and then keep at least this many backups, 3. So it's keeping 3 backups, which I think is a fine number. The number of days that you're going to keep for backups really depends on the amount of change that you have on your Appdata folder. So if you're installing stuff all the time, it's continuously changing, then you're probably going to want something fairly high numbered there. But if you're doing like 1 a week or something like that, you could probably get away with a lower number. But if you're constantly changing it, then I'd have it, a longer interval out that you want to, have backups available for. And these numbers here, you're going to have to remember that you're going to have to balance out the amount of data that it's going to consume compared to how much drive space you have. So this is a demo server for me. I'm not really doing anything with it other than showing you guys how to install apps. And if something dies, whatever, it's not a big deal. I'll just reinstall it. So I'm going to drop mine down to 3. We'll do 3 days of backups, and I'll keep the last 3. So it's just going to have 3 backups. If you set this to 14 days, then you're going to have a lot more backups, a lot more space taken up. So just set it accordingly. And then for Appdata sources, these are the default locations, the /MNT/user/appdata, and then the same with the cache location. Unless you have a different location that you've set up some custom setting, then those are probably going to be fine for you. So I'm just going to move on. If you do have a custom one, then make sure you obviously add that to the list here. You can just browse to it. And for backup destination, this is where we're going to browse to our location that we created, the backup share. So we'll click into that field. We're going to scroll down to user, and we should find backups here. And then we're going to go into the demo Appdata folder. After you have that selected, go ahead and click off there somewhere. And then use compression. We got a few different options here. We can do yes, normal compression. You can choose not to have any compression, or if you have a multi-core system, you can choose the multi-core option, which my system is multi-core, and it does make a difference doing this. So you've got more processors crunching on it, but it's all depending on how much stuff you have running too. If you've got a lot of Dockers running and and you need the resources, then you could just leave it on the yes, the normal. The next option down is how many cores should be used. Here you can refine exactly how many are being used. I'm just going to leave it on all because why not? It'll go faster. Next down, we have the option to back up the flash drive. Not a bad idea. Doesn't take up much space, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that on as well. Do you want to copy the flash backup to a custom location? If you do, just go ahead and select the location here. It's optional. You don't need to. I don't do it. I just let it go to the normal backup location since it's in a share that I can get to anyhow. So it works well. And this backup is not like a disaster recovery option. This is just, oops, I messed something up. You can go get it. If you nuke the server, then it's not going to be there anyhow. So, if you want something like that, you can move it to an external drive, or you can copy it over to your Google Drive or something of that nature, just so you've got an offsite copy. And then backup VM metadata. So if you have VMs in your system, you can back up the metadata for that. It's always a good idea to have that information. So go ahead and hit yes. We're going to scroll down under notification and scheduling. For notifications, I'm going to leave it on errors only. And basically in the top right corner, when you log into Unraid, you've got the errors listed up there, or, information, updates, and things that need to be done. That's where the message will show up at. And to create success notifications, unless you want a bunch of stuff popping up in there, I leave it on no. You can turn it on if you'd like. You can also have it pop up a notification if a container was updated. I don't worry about that because I update my containers through a different program, so I get notified anyhow. And then for scheduled backup frequency, it's currently disabled, so it's just a manual run at this point, but let's go ahead and turn this on. Here you can do daily, weekly, monthly, or custom schedule. Daily I think is fine. If like I said earlier, you don't hardly change anything, you could probably get away with weekly. Or if you have it all set up and you're not changing anything, then you could actually probably do monthly and just get a backup once a month, and that'll probably be fine. Since for my demo server here, I think a lot of people probably choose daily anyhow if you're out, installing new Dockers and new containers. Might not be a bad idea until you get it set up just the way you like it. And then below there, now it allows you to set up some more custom time for the backup. Since we have it on daily, we can't adjust the day of the week or the day of the month. If you selected, weekly, then you could change the day. If you selected monthly, then you can change the day of the month it's actually going to back it up. We're going to leave it on daily. And then below, you can set the time of the day in the minute. If we did like 2 a.m., it's going to be, this is 0 through 2300 hours. So 2 would be 2 a.m. If you wanted it 2 in the afternoon, then it'd be 14. And then minutes, if you wanted it to be at, 2:12 in the morning, that's how you do that. Scrolling down, we've got update containers after the backup. So it's going to back it up. And then you can have the option to have Appdata Backup initiate the upgrade of the application or of the Docker container if there's one available. Scrolling down a little more, we've got the per container settings, so we can control the backup for each individual container. If you want to exclude one of these containers from the backup, you just, in the center column here where it says skip, no, you can just drop down and tell it yes. That tells it you don't want it to be backed up. I'm going to leave these all on backup. Then over on the right-hand side, it shows you the start order. And this determines the start sequence, and then the stop order would be backwards from this. If you want to change this around, you can just grab it and then drag it to wherever you'd like it at. It allows you to adjust the order that they back up in. Don't seem to have the issue here, but on my main production server, I've got several different installs of some Arc servers. So, the game Arc. We've got one for each world. So we've got, I think 10 of them in there, something like that. So there's quite a few. And a lot of them use the same mappings. What happens, since they're using a lot of the same information within those each containers, there'll be a warning that pops up here and it says, warn, multi-mapping detected. So it basically means that there's multiple containers using the same data location. And there's no sense in backing, the same data location up 10 times if it's already being backed up by one. So if you have that, then what you'd do is you'd open up each one. So if, let's say the Deluge VPN one here has that warning. We'd open it up and you look at the paths here, and you would see a thing next to it that says used in multiple containers. So you'd want to leave one of them, the first instance usually, and then for the next container that you went into and it had the same warning, so you'd click on it, and then that would add it to the excluded folders and files down at the bottom down here. It'd be listed over here. And that's just going to exclude it from being backed up again. But like I said, make sure that you have at least one copy being backed up. So if you had that error, once you add it to the exclusion, you get out and that warning would be gone. And then you just do the same thing for each one of them. Something else to note, that each one of these containers can be adjusted from the general normal configuration settings by going into it. And then you can tell it, whatever. Do you want it to save this one to an external volume? Do you want to add it to a member of a group? Do you want to exclude a different, data folder? You can go to show advanced options and get even more details. Like, do you want to skip this one? Do you want to verify the backup? Do you want to ignore any errors? Yes, no. You can adjust each container individually if you want. This whole program is pretty powerful. So once you're happy with everything and you've got it all set up the way you want, we're going to scroll to the bottom and we're going to click Save. And then if you scroll all the way back down, you can click on Manual Backup to start a backup manually. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back when it's done. All right, now that it's done, let's talk about a couple different options here. If you have it set to backup manually, then you can just go back into your settings. Then you can go down to Backup/Restore Appdata. Then you're going to scroll down and you just hit Manual Backup. And if you have the backup scheduled, you won't need to worry about that. While that's backing up, now's probably a good time to think about getting yourself a fast and reliable backup device. I did some research earlier for myself and found the Oracle M2 NVMe enclosure, which is a nice little device, a little tiny guy, looks like a stick of gum almost. I had a used NVMe drive laying around, so I was looking for an enclosure to put that in. So I got one ordered. It's not here yet, but I've used their products for years. I've got an external drive, kind of a nice thing. I have a multi-bay unit over here, so I can just plug in drives and do that. Their products are pretty well built and quite reliable. I've used their products for years and have had pretty good results. So if you're looking for some kind of drive to back up to or something, I'll leave a link in the description. That way you can check it out. And if you don't have a drive laying around, I'll put a link to one too. Right now, Amazon's got a pretty fantastic sale going on. I think it's a 1 terabyte Samsung 990 Evo drive, NVMe. So normally, what was it, $150? Anyhow, it's 53% off. So it was $69. So pretty fantastic deal. I know some of you guys already picked one up, but I thought I'd just let you know that it's out there. I'll leave a link for that too in case you're interested. So we'll go ahead and let this backup finish. All right, now that the backup's done, let me tell you how to go about restoring the data, because what good is a backup if you can't restore it, right? So to do that, we're going to go back to settings. We were already in the spot, but I'm just going to show you here. So we'll go back to settings. We'll go down to Backup/Restore Appdata. Then we're going to go over to the Restore tab at the top. Our first step, we are going to look for a backup source, which should be the location of the share that we had set up earlier. So the /MNT/user/backups, and then the demo Appdata folder that we created. After you got your backup source, we're going to go ahead and click Next. And we'll scroll down now. And then step 2, we got to select the backup. So the backup files should be listed here. You can just drop down and select the backup you'd want. They're done by date and time. So 23/08/2024, that is day, month, and then year, and then the time. So 1400, which would be 2 o'clock. Once you have your backup selected, the one that you want, go ahead and hit Next again. Scroll down some more. Then in step 3, you select the items that you want to be restored. If you want to restore the backup config, you can click Yes. VM metadata, if you just have one template that you killed on accident, you can just restore that one. Whatever the case may be, you select what you want. We can restore the container itself. This part up here is the template. This part down here is the whole container. So I selected Flare Solver here. Let's do the same one. And at the very bottom, you hit Do It. From there, it switches to the status window, and then it'll show you the process and the current status. And that's done already. So the backup's already finished running. And if you look through the log here, it shows welcome. And we chose not to restore the configuration. We said it wasn't wanted, so it skipped it. The template, my binhex-flare solver, has been restored, along with restoring the binhex flare solver container itself, and that has succeeded. We chose not to do any extra files or any VM metadata, so it just skipped all that. And at the very bottom, you'll see it says Restore Complete. So it's all done. I got a lot of this information from Fleming's blog, so I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. So if you want to go check that out, it goes through like each step and what it does. But I think I did a pretty good job of covering, the main points of what everything is. But go check it out. It's pretty good. And that's Appdata Backup. But before you go, if you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. And if you enjoyed the video, check out one of these next. And I'll see you in the next one.